you know, we're excited to get back out here for our second Big East game. You know, after watching film of the Marquette game from yesterday evening, you know, I thought, you know, obviously we got to make our free throws. I mean, that's the obvious. You know, I think we have to guard the ball a lot better, like in the first half specifically. I thought we did a much better job defending the ball in the second half. But we also got to find that rhythm. I thought we had too many turnovers in the first half and took a few too tough shots in the first half as well. Second half was much better offensively overall. But it was a good game for us. But, you know, obviously we're moving on to Villanova, which, you know, got a ton of respect for their program. They've been the flagship program in the Big East since we joined. You know, Jay Wright, I mean, they've won 2 national titles in the last 5 years. They've had great players. They got great players right now. So we know how good they are. It's going to be a game of focus, a game of discipline. You know, they do a great job of putting you in situations where you're in, you know, closing out. You got to guard the ball. They're going to shot fake at the beginning of the drive, at the end of the drive. They're going to move really well without the ball. They put so much pressure on you because they shoot the ball so well. You know, guys like Moore, Gillespie, Slater, Samuels, who's been there forever as well, man. They got great players. So we got a tall task in front of us. We know they're going to be ready. You know, we got to be the tougher team for 40 minutes.
Coach, I watched some of that Creighton-Villanova game, and there were 2 areas in particular where I thought Creighton really took advantage of against Villanova. And number one was what you mentioned, that they were really disciplined on Villanova's shot fakes. And the other was, I think they got 42 points in the paint. How crucial are those 2 areas in a game like this?
I think very important, especially for us. You know, you look at our personnel and kind of how we play and who we have. I think, you know, playing inside out has been really good for us. When we've made that I thought early on in the year, Adam, I thought we were taking too many threes and too many threes without the ball ever touching the paint. You know, whether that's via a drive or a post up or whatever it is. I think we've gotten better in that regard. And, you know, when we get the ball inside to guys like Zach, Jack, we drive the ball with Colby and Paul and DeJuan and all these guys, AK, man, good things really happen for us. You know, we've gotten to the free throw line a ton. And that's because we've been making it a big point of emphasis to getting the ball to the paint. That's how we have to play. Now, listen, Villanova, they'll play 5 guards, right? They're going to play Jermaine Samuels some at the 5. And they're going to be versatile. But they fight. They make it a lot more. It sounds easy to get to say, hey, listen, Jack Nungy's 6'11", 7 foot. Jermaine Samuels or Eric Dixon are a little bit shorter than him. They make it tough to get it in there with their ball pressure, their fronting, their physicality. So we have to be prepared for that. But we do got to get the ball there. I think that's extremely important. And then on the other, you talked about the shot fakes. You know, like they do as good of a job as anybody in the country, in my opinion, of playing off the catch. And what do I mean by that is when they catch the ball, they are ready. They're catching to shoot. They're making a quick decision. Are they shooting it? Are they driving it? Are they passing it? And they're great at shot fakes. You got to stay down, and you got to stay in short closeout. You got to stay out of rotation against Villanova, right, as best as possible, so you can stay in those short closeouts, which makes it easier. And then you got to stay down on shot fakes at the end of the drive. So it's the beginning of the drive and end of the drive where that discipline really comes into play.
Do you have to remind these guys, or will you remind them that Xavier's never won a road game at Villanova?
You know, again, we won't dwell on the past, but those guys know how important this game is. It's a great opportunity. I mean, it's a great opportunity. Obviously, it's the biggest game of the year because it's the next game, right? And all these Big East games are worth the same, but it is a great opportunity, and we know we're going to get their best shot. Listen, they're coming off a loss against Creighton, lost against, I think it was Baylor before that. So I know this. Coach Wright's going to have them playing at a very, very, very high level on Tuesday night.
I think one of the things that comes with winning, I mean, this is the best start that you've had since Xavier took over as head coach, and you start to get a little bit more attention on the national stage. But I'm curious from your standpoint, like, you guys still have stuff that you need to improve on and get better at. Do you think that helps your guys from maybe their heads getting a little bit too big here earlier in the season?
Yeah, better, because we're nowhere near where we need to be and where we can be. And I think our guys know that. We got a lot of areas that we can get better at, Adam. You can't ever get too high or too low. I think the people that do that, you don't win. You get humbled very, very, very quickly, right? Again, we enjoy obviously the wins. You want to celebrate every win that you have very quickly. But then you got to move on very quickly in this business, especially in this league, because anybody can beat anybody on any given night, right? That's the great thing about the Big East is there's just so many good coaches and teams and players. I don't even pay attention, honestly. I have no idea what the national people are even saying. Adam, no offense to you, I don't read anything media wise. Like I just go in I just go in like a closet, man. I'm just in there, just watching film and preparing our team. So I think our guys are hopefully doing the same thing.
At the end of the Marquette game, you went small, but before you went small, you kept Fremantle on the bench. I think you had Nunji at the 5, Jerome at the 4. Was that lineup late, like the last 7-8 minutes? Was that more defensive minded, or what was your thought process there with how you used your rotations?
Yeah, it was more defense for sure. I thought I didn't want to play zone then. We played a little bit more zone when Zach was at the 4. I thought he's got to be better defensively, and that's what I told him. And he can be. If we had any athletic tests like a sprint test or whatever it is, Zach's probably going to win on our team. I mean, he'll be right there with DeJuan, as crazy as it is, like from a sprinting standpoint, mobility standpoint. He's got to do it on the defensive end. We're asking him to play different defensively than he ever has, right? Up until this point, his first 2 years here at Xavier, he's been more interior. He's played the 5, played more, and what I mean by interior is more inside, around the paint. Now he's got to be able to play a little bit more out on the perimeter. Right, and he can do it from a mobility standpoint. And he knows our defensive system as well, but he's got to show that he can do that in zone and man. He's got to be able to do it because we have to continue to figure out a way. And I keep on saying it. This is where our team can grow a lot, is when we can figure out how to play Zach and Jack together a lot of minutes. Right, both those guys are tremendous offensive players. I mean, and rebounders. Right, you look at the rebound numbers. I think Zach had 8, and Jack had 12 or whatever it was. Just with their sheer size and IQ, got to figure out that defensive end. And if he does that, if we can do that, then I think this team has a different level that we can get to.
You mentioned last night that DeJuan, that was the best game that he's had in a Xavier uniform. And for a guy like that who you see him do it every day in practice, he's sort of contributed in little bursts and spurts here and there in games. But what does last night mean to him just between his ears to know that he can have such an impact on winning? I mean, you might not win that game if DeJuan doesn't do what he did last night.
Confidence is an incredible thing, right? And you could tell when a player's not playing confidently as well. It can go the other way, right? When a guy, you see even in the NBA, some of the best shooters in the world shoot you've watched Major League Baseball, some of the best hitters go through those slumps. Right, where they just can't see the ball as well. So it's so noticeable when a guy has the confidence, and it's really noticeable when they don't. And it happens to the best, right? How do you maintain that confidence? You got to be mentally tough, right? You got to earn that confidence as well just with your work. And I'm just really happy for DeJuan because DeJuan, listen, he's a great player. I see him every single day. He's a game changer for us. I always say it. Defensively, he's as good as a defender as we have in our program. I think he's as good on the ball as anybody in our league. But he can score. I mean, listen, he is so athletic at getting. He's so good at getting to the rim. It's hard to keep him out of the paint. And he scored a lot against Marquette, and I think he only ended up with maybe 1 assist. But that's the way they were defending DeJuan. DeJuan did what the game told him to do. He'll have games where he'll have 6 assists. Because teams are helping in. And that's what happened late for that shot that he got Nate in the left corner there at the very end. That defense helped in. He did exactly what the defense told him. He had scored all game long, right? He hit Nate on time, on target, right in rhythm, and Nate knocked it down. So, DeJuan's a really good player. I've said this before. He's good enough to start here. We have 9 guys that I think are good enough to start right now on our team, and he's obviously one of those guys. So we need him playing at a high level.